So I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but the world is kind of a mess right now. And it seems like the biggest pile of dirty laundry is here in America. Again, notes. This is my preaching section, and I'm sorry if you don't want to hear it. The doors. There's, for those of you that follow me on Instagram @BrazenOvertures, I'm all about sharing some memes, mostly to just make people smile and give you something to laugh about, and occasionally something to think about. The last couple weeks, it's been a lot of something to think about. And one of the memes that I've seen pop up frequently over the past few days specifically, I'm going to paraphrase it. Privilege is when the Supreme Court has never had to make a decision about whether you have the same rights as others. How the fuck are we at a point in our history where we are having to scream at the top of our lungs to remind the rest of our country that human life has value and that Black lives do in fact matter? This may surprise you to hear, but growing up in Alabama, Black History Month, which the more, I'll be polite this time, the more old line people made light of the fact that Black History Month is in the shortest month of the year. Black History Month was a series of little bite-sized, little easily digestible tidbits that they could throw out. Oh my God, Madam C.J. Walker invented lipstick, and George Washington Carver invented peanut butter. That was it. Okay. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. Which was a word that I did not hear until I was in my late 20s. I was oblivious to the Tulsa massacres until Watchmen came out on HBO. Because, forgive me for quoting an insensitive depiction of this, but I was always given the impression that until the Civil War ended, as Julius Sugarbaker, it was happy darkies singing in the fields while Miss Scarlet crimps around throwing hissy fits. Yeah. And it was just this clean little bite-sized, and then slavery ended and we were better, and that's it. Which, of course, is anything but the fucking truth. And I recognize that even though the Supreme Court has made multiple rulings, including one this week, regarding my rights, it is nothing compared to what my Black friends and chosen family have had to experience. I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other night, and she, it hadn't hit, I'd seen it, I knew that it was happening, but it hadn't hit home until I was talking to my friend. And she said that when the countywide quarantine was in effect, that she'd be going about her business, but every day she would set an alarm at 9:15. So she'd be sure to be home at 10 o'clock. Just in case, because as a Black woman, who's to say what's gonna happen if you get pulled over? I fucking hate that. So, twice in my life, I have had the extreme privilege of performing in the musical Ragtime. It changed my life both times I was in it. The first time I had just finished 8th grade, but I was already 12 feet tall, so I was in the adult ensemble. And last summer I had the opportunity to make my professional theatrical debut in Central Florida as Mother's younger brother at the Garden Theater. The climax of the first act is the death of a Black woman at the hands of the police because a white man thought that she had a gun the first act ends with her funeral. There's a day of hope. May I live to see when our hearts are happy and our souls are free. Let the new day dawn. Oh Lord, I pray we'll never get to heaven till we reach that day. It's a day of peace, a day of pride, a day of justice. We have been denied when a man can live and a child can play. We'll never get to heaven till we reach that day. And yes, I recognize that Ragtime is a work of historical fiction that takes place mostly in 1908. But I also realize that the reality of that is almost identical to what we are seeing today in 2020. At least 6 people of color that we know of in the last several days, like within recent memory, have been lynched. And a federal anti-lynching bill is stuck in the Senate of the United States of America because a couple of people have an issue with the wording. And the Ku Klux Klan has yet to be designated as a terrorist organization. Like, what the fuck, y'all? You've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be taught